Welcome back to the Liberty Block on 1490 WGCH. I'm Elliot Axelman. We have Libertarian candidate for New York Governor Larry Sharpe on the phone. Larry is a business and professional coach who has been a guest instructor at Columbia's Graduate School of Business. He is also a former U.S. Marine and was a heavy favorite to be vice presidential nominee for the Libertarian Party in last year's election. Mr. Larry Sharpe, it's an honor. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me, brother. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. It's going to be a lot of fun. So did you hear the breaking news? Apparently, NewYorkUpstate.com just reported a few minutes ago that Trump told upstate New Yorkers if they want jobs to move elsewhere in the country.
Yeah, he's not wrong. That's the sad part. I wish he was wrong. It's a problem, but we can fix that. This is a repairable problem. The image that he has of upstate New York and the image that many people have of upstate New York is a problem. As you said, New York State has been losing population for the past, several years. We're now fourth behind Florida. We used to be third, and they're all running away. But here's another problem that no one gets, and that is while New York State is losing population, New York City is gaining. Now, as New York City keeps growing, why? Because the only place in New York State where there's any type of opportunity is actually in the city. And that's a problem. We want to make it to where the entire state gives you value. But the answer, of course, for Cuomo, our Governor Andrew Cuomo, King Andrew, as I like to call him, is let's not fix upstate New York. Let's instead bribe people to stay with free stuff. And, of course, that now raises more and more taxes. And, of course, the taxes go heavily all over the place until all of a sudden people in upstate New York, particularly upstate New York, feel like they don't own their home. They feel like they're renting their home from New York State. This is just the wrong place to be.
Yeah, it's actually interesting that you mentioned the Excelsior Scholarship Program. We had another guest on, Ed Maslish from New Jersey, who's also an attorney. He mentioned that the scholarship program, people say it's free. It actually does cost you. It doesn't cost money, but it actually costs time because if you go to school for 4 years with the scholarship, you then owe New York 4 years of time. So you're enslaved with time to stay in New York State. So that's a whole other issue. And we're going to get into the scholarship program and free college later. But staying on the jobs in New York and the jobs programs, for the listeners, Cuomo in the last 7 years has spent $25 billion that he took from me, from Larry, from you all in New York State. He took our money, $25 billion, and spent it on jobs programs. And according to Forbes.com, Cuomo's jobs programs, Startup New York, cost almost $700,000 per one job created in his first year. So he's taking our money to say it's for jobs programs. We're creating more jobs, and it sounds nice, but he's spending $700,000 to create every job. And I think that first year they created like 200 jobs, even though they promised a lot more than that. It's just incredible, these jobs programs failures. Unbelievable.
New York State is surviving at all because of almost luck. I mean, New York City is such a mecca for talent that people rush to New York City. The most talented people in the world rush to New York City. And just the sheer talent is so good that we're able to overcome all the obstacles, that are against us. It's not because Cuomo is doing a good job in any way, shape, or form. It's because the talent pool is still really good in many of our cities. And our schools are good. I mean, we have Cornell. We have Syracuse, which is a great school. Rochester, which is a great school. We have, Columbia, great school. We have great schools here that are doing a decent job, but he's even trying to stop that. If Cuomo was the governor of another state that didn't have both the educational resources and the talent resource that we have, I mean, he'd be an ultimate failure. He would have been thrown out last election.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you speak to your policies as a governor, Larry Sharpe? How would you approach the jobs programs using taxpayer money to try to create jobs with jobs programs in New York State? How would you address that? Would you have any jobs programs that use taxpayer money?
Well, this is a great question. And the first thing what we need when we're in trouble, when things are going poorly, what we need is innovation. We don't need centralization. The leaders of today, the smart ones, the savvy ones, realize to be a good leader, you don't have to have all the answers or concentrate all the power. To be a good leader, you have to be an empowerer. You have to be someone who can accept decentralized control and allow for innovation and allow for new things to happen. The odds of me using, be clear, when I'm governor in 2019, that first year, is going to be a year of me doing things that an executive can do and using the bully pulpit to show people what it's about, to train and to teach and to motivate people to understand things have to change. Because I'm going to have a house that is against me, right? The state house is going to be against me completely because they're not going to be a libertarian. So
Oh yeah, they're 90% authoritarian in New York State.
That's correct. So I know that the first year is not going to be magic, and I just want people to know that. When I'm doing my training and when I'm actually bringing executives to change their organizations, I never promise perfection, but what I promise is better. So if I were ever to use any taxpayer money for any type of jobs program, if anything, it will be a prize for innovation, but it wouldn't be an actual program. There's no way that I can know what program is going to work best, but you know who does know? The colleges that are working right now, they do know. They are hearing the local businesses cry to them saying, we want you to give us this for our new hires. But unfortunately, colleges right now in New York State, they're regulated. So they cannot actually create degrees that are required unless the state approves them. That goes away the day I'm the governor. That goes right away. I want the colleges to be free to do what is right for the communities. That has to happen. But second, I have to allow for people, for example, say you want to be, and this is a notorious thing recently in New York, you want to start walking dogs. Why do you require a license? Well, in New York City, you do. Why do you need a license to braid hair? In New York City, you do.
I was about to ask that.
Why do you require these things? Those licensing fees need to go away so that I can figure out, so that people can figure out how they can grow their communities themselves. What's happening is you have young people, particularly young people, or people who are older who want to reinvent themselves because the market has beaten them up so badly. Now they have to reinvent themselves. Well, they reinvent themselves as something new, like I'm now going to open up a restaurant. I'm now going to do this or that. Well, you don't open up a restaurant. It's going to cost you tens of thousands of dollars in fees before you even build out your restaurant. Because you know what matters? It matters that your hamburger patty is at 40 degrees whenever it's outside of the fridge. What? These are the kind of regulations we have that put people under. I'm sure our listeners know of someone who's had a business and they went under, and the last thing that put them under, the straw that broke the camel's back, was a government fine or fee. That happens far too much in New York. If you look around our nation, but New York in particular, try to find actual small business that's not a franchise. Try to find actual small business that is not a chain. Boy, you're looking hard. Because the chains, they're the ones that actually benefit from regulation. Because they're the ones who have the team of lawyers who can sue the government, who can change the regulation, who write the regulation to make sure that the little guy has no shot. That stuff has to go away. So what am I going to do? I'm going to unleash the individual New Yorker who loves his or her state, who wants to do something in their community, who wants to bring value. I'm going to stop punishing them. And I'm going to encourage them and show them, yes, I want you to do it. Please do that.